Ladies and gentlemen, as we rejoice over getting together here today, we also weep for Paris. We mourn and pray for those innocent lives that are lost. Can I just suggest that we take a minute to observe silence before we start? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here and welcome to the ABAC Women's Forum. As I landed in the Manila airport yesterday, I see the following slogan that really encouraged me: building inclusive economies and building a better world. And we're all here today because we all agree that inclusiveness means progress. And there's no more appropriate example of progress than the evolution of ABAC Women's Forum. Starting from a 7-woman closed-door cult-like meeting to today, we have 300 registered guests at this luncheon today. Thank you for making that progress possible. And why do we care about women? Why do we care about making progress in inclusiveness? Here's just a really quick example. Imagine if you work really hard, day in and day out, falling into bed exhausted and rising with the sun every morning. You work so hard, but you never get paid. You never get even recognized that you're creating any value at all. How crazy does that sound? How unfair does that sound? But in fact, that is the situation facing many women around the world today. When governments measure national economies, women's work, including those caregiving, housekeeping, homemaking, are not considered actual work at all. And imagine if all of the women around the world taking care of their family contribute to one nation. We will have a 10 trillion US dollars economy. That will be the 4th largest economy in the world. And just imagine, if women are not assigned a disproportionate amount of the caring responsibilities and are able to participate in the economy more fully, we have an opportunity to create 28 trillion US dollars to the global economy. I think that's a very clear business case. Women, and that's why women means business. That's why we gather together alongside every ABAC meeting to talk about progress, to help mainstream this issue in our dialogues with policymakers and leaders. And that's also why policymakers or business leaders alike, we have no excuse not to act. Today, this luncheon features the theme of women, business, and rule of law. Rule of law will be a very important issue for 2016, as we have heard from the incoming ABAC chair and some chair this morning at the opening plenary. But just like many critical issues that we discussed in ABAC today, it is impossible to take a very complete picture, look at the complete picture of the issue without applying a gender lens. Examining whether the rule of law is established and practiced in a way that serves everybody, that is based on the foundation of gender equality. Gender-based discrimination still permeates across all of our cultures in one way or another. And it is often manifested in law, in policies, and in practices of institutions, even in places where constitutions guarantee equal rights. Customary norms and traditions can still serve as major obstacles for women and girls to access justice, security, and opportunities. And oftentimes it's about recognizing the problem, that we can finally start taking proactive actions to address the problem. Today we're so honored to have among us the Chief Justice from the Supreme Court of the Philippines. We can't wait to hear her perspectives on this issue, followed by questions and comments from across the floor. So once again, thank you very much. I would like now to pass the floor to our very energetic Chair Doris to introduce the Chief Justice.
The Honorable Chief Justice, Maria Lourdes Sereno, ABAC colleagues, distinguished guests, a pleasant afternoon. I'm really happy to welcome those who have just arrived. We're especially honored to have with us the Honorable Chief Justice Lourdes Sereno. as our special guest speaker. Chief Justice, as you heard Pearlie speak, ABAC's Women's Empowerment Initiatives is one of the pillars of our inclusive growth agenda. And your being with us today as an exemplary leader in our country is greatly appreciated. Thank you. The Philippines is proud to be ranked as number 1 in Asia and number 9 in the World Economic Forum report on those societies that have narrowed the gender gap. We've had 2 women presidents, and Chief Justice Sereno is the first Chief Justice of this country. 1 out of 3 in the APEC region, the other 2 being Canada and New Zealand. Our SOM chair, Laura Del Rosario, always jokes to say that, oh my goodness, we have her as a female SOM leader, an ABAC chair that's a female, and when you look at our teams, there are a lot of female leaders there as well. We greatly appreciate the role that our ABAC Chinese Taipei, Cher Wang, who's the founder of HTC, has played in bringing the importance of the ABAC Women's Forum each year, hosting this lunch, and each year having a very robust agenda in the ABAC recommendations to leaders. One of the four pillars of our inclusive growth agenda includes bringing up MSMEs, and one of that is extremely important aspect of that is to harness women's participation in the economy. ABAC has been actively engaged in numerous APEC initiatives for women, such as welcoming the APEC Healthy Women, Healthy Economy Policy Toolkit, and the APEC Women in Transportation Data Framework and Best Practices Report to encourage adoption and implementation by private companies in making their workplace more friendly to women. With all this, we are so thrilled, Chief Justice, that you're here to speak to us about your experience as a woman leader. Chief Justice, ABAC's work involves recommending policies to leaders so the region can be more economically integrated and connected, to give business, big and small, access to larger markets. One big concern we have identified concerns the rule of law. Many economies have opened trade and investment laws to be welcoming, only to find major impediments around unfriendly laws or unfriendly interpretations of friendly laws or friendly interpretations of bad laws. Whatever the case may be, business looks for transparency and predictability and believes that economies that offer the environment that is predictable and transparent will be the most attractive to investors. During our ABAC meeting in January, and speaking and engaging with the senior officials, we realized that the APEC system engages most of the sectors of government, except the judiciary. Because the rule of law is going to become a very important focus of next year's hosting in Peru, we feel very privileged to have this opportunity to listen to you. The Chief Justice has been very engaged in bringing together the Chief Justices around the Pacific Islands and other fora, and your ideas on how we can actually ensure that the rule of law also helps provide the transparency and predictability that business seeks as it aims to bring about prosperity to the region through investment. So we really look forward to listening to you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome. Oh, not yet. Oh, okay. It doesn't say that on the program. So later on, you will be introduced properly. Chief Justice, thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy your lunch. Thank you.